Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you, the SME entrepreneur. Tonight on the show, bringing you highlights of a panel discussion we did in Ranchi with the theme Iron Industrialization, Opportunities and Challenges, bringing together a panel of some of the biggest experts in that city to talk to an audience of entrepreneurs. Listen in.
Ranchi is, of course, among the top 100 cities that are selected for development under the Honorable Prime Minister's flagship Smart Cities mission. So as an outsider looking in, what luck has this Tier 2 city had in attaining and retaining Tier 1 talent?
Really, it is now the birds are returning to their nest. And during last, I think, within 6 months, we have noticed that around 40 to 50% executives who are working either in Bangalore, Pune or Calcutta, or 3 to 4% which are working, which were working in Silicon Valley, they have returned back. And we are really trying hard to promote startups culture, and around 49 startup has been selected. So now we are creating an ecosystem in which the new emerging business person can return back to their homeland, and then they can start their own business. We have already tried to at least because in Jharkhand the consumer that potential is in government sector also in only, and we have tried to relax some of the criteria like experience and turnover criteria, especially for the startups. And startups definition has also been relaxed. Now the company having 25 crore of turnover can be treated as a startup. So we are trying to accommodate the person who are not getting a proper job, but they can start their business in Jharkhand.
Well, Savita, let's talk more about what Umesh just brought up. And he essentially seemed to make the point that it is favorable government policy that is fueling the tech ecosystem here. Do you find that to be true? And if you could cite examples that substantiate your point of view either way.
Well, I would agree with Mr. Umesh that government's policies and recently in the last couple of years, and they have been very, very friendly to the new investments, to the new entrepreneurs. And they are making lots of efforts by making a single window system. Momentum Jharkhand has been there. They're pushing it very, very hard, and there has been a great intent. But at the same time, I would disagree only on one point, that although intent has been very good, the policies have been remarkable, the efforts are remarkable, but it is yet to be seen on the ground, whether it is implemented or not. If we say that, I would say that we have not been very lucky in keeping the Tier 1 talent here in Jharkhand, despite lots of efforts. If that was the case, students, what we are seeing, since I come from an academic background, what we see that all the cream of students, those who are 90% and above, none of them stay back for education also in Ranchi, in Jharkhand, despite the fact that we have good institutes. Even if these institutes of Center of Excellence like IIM, BITs, IITs are there, the students who come here to study, they get good education, but do they find jobs here in Jharkhand? No. They all go back somewhere else to find for better opportunities. So I would say we haven't been able to retain the Tier 1 talent so far, but yes, the way the efforts are being happening, the way the intent is there, I'm really hopeful that we'll be able to do that in future. Yeah.
Rashmi, do you share the same point of view? While the intention may be in the right place, it has not yet materialized to the extent required.
Hi, good evening. First of all, thank you for the question. I would actually second with ma'am whatever she said. We are not maybe able to retain the cream, retain the talent here, but surprisingly what I see here, people, they go out, they study, they have an experience of their job life and professional life, but after a while I see a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I know, they come back to the city, they're establishing here and doing really well. And these people are also not only creating their own space here, they're also creating a platform, an ecosystem for the youngsters so that they can join the platform and they can do and create something here itself which would be very good for Ranchi. So it's both the ways, maybe, but we need to work more on retaining the primary crowd first, you know, the recent pass outs. So yeah, maybe we can work on that a little more.
And what's so remarkable about this city is that it's the hub to such a diversified industry base, whether it be minerals and mining on the one hand, or ceramics and IT-related services, all in the same breath. You know? So what my question is are SMEs taking advantage of this inherently diversified economy? And if they aren't, what are ways in which they can? And I pose that question to you, Siddhant.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, to the previous question, I want to add something.
Please.
The previous question, I agree with all the panelists that the cream talent is not being retained in Ranchi. All of them are migrating to some other cities for in chase of good packages and in chase of good lifestyle, I may say. But then they have to understand that Ranchi has this one factor very important, that is cost of living. When you earn a 60,000 or 50,000 in Bangalore or Pune, you'll have to invest all of that, depending on the cost of the city. But when you come back to Ranchi and you get a payment of around 25,000 or 30,000, it's comparatively equivalent to what you are getting paid in Pune and Bangalore.
I would like to say this talent migration is not an issue, because those people who are actually studying in a great institution, they are not local people. They are actually, like I can say about IIM Ranchi, we are getting pan-India students. 29 states are represented in our student community. And they are not looking for the job in Ranchi because they can create more impact by going somewhere else.
Another very positive sign is that the Jharkhand is pushing lots and lots into skill development programs. There are lots of mega skill development centers opening up here. And those skill centers are catering to the Jharkhand market only. Whatever is the workforce, skilled workforce required in Jharkhand, those skill centers are aiming for that. I'm sure they can help a lot, these SMEs, and that is a very, very positive sign for the skilled workforce for the SMEs, I would say.
I agree with you, ma'am. And one of the points that's so fascinating about this city is, aside from all of the vocational training, right, there's such a skill development effort when it comes to handicrafts and handlooms, etc., where you're seeing a growing base of employment opportunities for rural and tribal populations. You know, so as Ranchi's economy is growing, it's growing in more than one direction, you know, in more directions than one. And I think that is a point that's, you know, worth mentioning and worth noticing.
We're going to slip into a very short break on that note. Much more on the other side. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on the show we bring you highlights of a panel discussion from Ranchi.
I'd love to bring you in here, sir. And one thing that distinguishes Ranchi is, of course, a very liberal land usage policy, as a result of which we've seen Ranchi expand to a lot of nearby urban and semi-urban vicinities. So what have been the implications of this expansion for small, medium, and large-scale industry?
Let me just say, urbanization has started, it has expanded, But land use policy, there are a lot of questions. We have started many companies which are of textile nature, and even international companies have come up, and our Honorable Minister of Textile had come and inaugurated that. So there are things which are happening. But you say specific to Ranchi, then maybe we are still to go and get many more. We have lot of potential, but potential is yet to be realized.
What are the resources that are available for SMEs in this community? Which are the industry bodies that actually represent their voice?
See, actually, like ma'am said, we do have a lot of potential over here. The ring road represents that. The amount of space we have in Jharkhand, the population is very low. The Ranchi is just probably 10, 11 lakhs. And the potential is huge. Now the question is to convert it into a kinetic and do a real industry around it. There are a lot of industrial organizations like Jharkhand Small Industries or a Federation of Jharkhand Chamber of Commerce or Adityapur Industrial Area. These are the places where they can actually push it. But right now we know the reality that Kokar industrial area is failing. There are hardly 2-3 real industries over there. All the others are these car workshops and everything. So we realize that in reality, in theory, Jharkhand and Ranchi has a lot of potential, but in practice, it's completely different. And that's the reason why SMEs do not thrive here. It's not that there isn't potential, it isn't a good place. It has all the good qualities what a city like Ranchi would grow into a big industrial city, probably like Navi Mumbai or someplace. But still we are not. We need to think on that why.
Actually, there is a 2 scheme from Government of India. One is Atal Tinkering Lab. This lab is to be established in the schools, and the main objective of this lab is to focus to create future entrepreneurs. And one is Atal Innovation Lab. So I think in the year 2017, also in 2018, I tried to contact major schools across Jharkhand. And I can say that top 5 schools of Ranchi, I talked personally to the principals that we would like to help the schools to establish the Atal Tinkering Lab. Nobody has come up with any plan because we need for the 1,000 square feet space. So we can sum up this event as that the schools are training the students for job only. They are not training for to be entrepreneur, future entrepreneur. So even in the colleges, I have talked to most of the technical institute directors and principals. They are not focusing on innovation and incubation labs. And students in those institutions are doing from their self, and for that only we have established the innovation lab, and we are trying to connect the institutions, students, financial institutions, so that a culture can be created in Jharkhand, and new entrepreneurs can come up with the idea and the business.
Well, let's talk about these incubation labs. For someone in the audience that might be interested in being incubated, what are the eligibility criteria? Do they have to have a product that's in a prototype phase? Do they have to have a fully baked management team? Do they need to be profitable? What does it take for those doors to open up?
Actually, as far as that startup, the word is concerned, it is really new for the Jharkhand. But since 2015, we have traveled a lot, and we have tried to, in the year 2018, we have conducted various roads, so even in the Dumka, Devghat, Giridih, and presently we are focusing mainly on the agriculture product, tribal arts and culture, and the IT, because we are hopeful that we can create a good entrepreneurs from these 3 to 4 sectors, and there is a possibility, and we cannot say some more because this is a ECC result period, so I cannot say more, but we are going ahead with a good idea, and certainly we will create something new.
One of the biggest criticisms of the education system in our country is that we are churning out graduates, but they are simply not employable. So, Shailendra, I'd love to bring you in here to share your take, and if that problem exists, what's the solution?
Let me just say that IIMs hone life skills as well as vocational skills. The student who come to our place may be fetching few thousand rupees per month, but when person is put through the process of IIM, I'm talking about other IIMs also. I hail from IIM Lucknow. 20 years I had experience there, and then I have come here. The market value of that person becomes few lakhs a month rather than few thousand a month. What happens in between? A boy or a girl is actually prepared into a professional.
And Siddhant, you had a point, then I'll get to you, Rashmi.
Yeah, I still feel that our education system is very traditional in its approach and old-fashioned, and it awards students on the basis of their analytical skills more than creative. Suppose if there is a person who is good in dancing or who wants to pursue a photography career, we don't have much courses or schools or any kind of institutions here in Ranchi. So what happens to those creative students? They are forced into performing those analytical numbers that they have to perform in science or arts, and they are pushed into that 9-to-5 jobs rather than they become a good choreographer or a good designer or rather a good hotelier. And adding to it, there's one such effort that is being made by Jharkhand government. It is IHM Ranchi that is soon going to be opened in Bombay, I think. It's going to be a good effort in the sense that it's going to produce more students that can be hoteliers. And there are huge opportunities in Jharkhand in terms of hotel and being a hotelier. That's what my perspective is.
We've talked a lot about what Ranchi perhaps doesn't have or what Ranchi lacks, but let's talk about what Ranchi does have. And I'd love to bring you in here, Raghav. There's a fairly stable political environment, as I mentioned earlier, right? There's a rapidly developing infrastructure within the city, coupled with a lush forest area just outside of the city that is, very rich in natural resources, right? There's favorable government policy, there's favorable land usage policy, and to my understanding, there's a high literacy rate and a hard-working labor force. So given that equation, given that perfect storm of factors, what opportunities does it bring to the forefront for the SME community in particular?
Actually, Pooja, that's a very good point. There isn't anything what I like to say that Ranchi does not have right now. It has all the potential infrastructure that's coming up that for an SME to grow. It has potential investors coming up. It has good government policies. Like we said, we have a fantastic industry policy. We have a fantastic startup policy. But again, the whole thing comes back to what Ranchi does not have. We have everything, but still Ranchi is not the IT backend of the world, Hyderabad and Bangalore. There's a reason why those cities became. Now we have to figure that out, what we don't have rather than what we have, and why should people come over. So I would like the whole discussion, what people should ask themselves really, that what are we doing wrong? Like we being citizens of this beautiful city, we have, as you rightly mentioned, we have around 90% literacy in the city. I mean, that's better than most of the top A-class cities in the country. We have
what? The national average is about 74%,
yes, exactly.
And we're in the 90s here.
Exactly. Secondly, we have abundance of resources, be it water. Hyderabad is suffering from a major water problem. We do not. We should not suffer from any electricity problem, to be honest, considering the amount of core resources we ourselves have. There's a big NTPC mine in Hazaribagh, that's 100 kilometers from here. So there is absolutely nothing that Ranchi does not have. Still the question is, why isn't Ranchi in one of the top industrial cities in India?
Well, Umesh, with the emergence of special economic zones across Ranchi, is attracting outside investment the answer?
We have to really counsel the parents and teacher to take the risk, and after doing their graduation or 12th, how the government can handhold them to so that they not only desire the job, they will start their own business. And for that, we have already created that innovation and incubation lab, and we have provided not only the free space and facilities, but we are also giving the stipend so that they can arrange their livelihood. We cannot compare the tier 2, tier 3 cities with the Bangalore or Hyderabad or Chennai. But recently, in the month of January, Government of India has recognized Jharkhand as one of the top emerging startup destination, and we are 10th, including all the states. We are 10th and some of the state they have taken the baseline from the 2016 and the growth up to 2018, and they found that the speed, that the growth rate in Jharkhand is much ahead from the Chennai, Punjab, even the Delhi.
Wonderful note upon which to close. But I have to thank all of our panelists for sharing so many anecdotes from their personal and professional journeys.
All right, that's all we could manage to pack into this one show, but we do travel to 20 such cities across the length and breadth of the country to bring you face to face with entrepreneurs and experts in each of these cities. If you have any feedback on some of the topics that were raised during this panel discussion, here's how you let us know. leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com is our email ID. On social media, Sunanda_J and LOT_ET now on Twitter, and Leaders of Tomorrow on ET now on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.